Now, let's talk a little about how I also apply, because what I've realized is that change impact analysis is just the beginning. It highlights some things for you that then you need to action more as you go down the line in your project. So let me share a bit how I've used change impact analysis in further business analysis work that I've done. The first is required user story definition, requirements and user story definition. I mentioned when I perform process analysis, it helps me identify functional requirements, even non-functional requirement, and of course, my user story. So I don't need to, it's also a systematic way for me to begin to write requirements for that will drive further conversation with the stakeholders and the IT team. It's also a great input to the organizational change management, depending if you, the business analyst, is responsible for that activity on your project, or you have an OCM role on the project, so you can give them that information and they continue the analysis work from that point. I've also applied this concept to process change implementation, and I have some slides, a slide down the line to show you how I've done this. So after implementing, redesigning the process, we got the to-be processes approved. Before we will implement all the changes, we needed to identify exactly what needs to be changed, what needs to be acquired, what needs to be procured, what needs to be modified. We applied the change impact analysis technique to identify all of that. It is also a great input for your work breakdown structure. If you are trying to understand all the tasks, all the BA tasks and activities on your project, this is a good starting point for you. So release and upgrade management. Some of us may have had experiences with deploying SaaS solutions, and we know that SaaS solutions comes with periodic updates, could be quarterly, twice a year updates, annual updates, and upgrades. And for every time we need to do this, we need to also step back and assess what will be the impact of this change when we accept it and deploy it to production. So the change impact analysis checklist can be used. You can design a change impact analysis checklist, and the business or the operations support team can use this whenever they are trying to accept new changes from the vendor. It also is also a great input for the risk management log. You identify, as you're identifying elements, you're also identifying what could go wrong, and this is a great input for your risk management plan or risk management activities. So in this slide here, I'm showing the application of change impact analysis to process implementation. So what we did in this project was to list out all the areas that were going to be changing, all the changing areas on the process based on the to-be process. We grouped the changes in categories that was relevant for us at that point in time. So we had people, forms and reports, infrastructure, technology, and work tools. That was the groupings we used. And then we began to articulate the required changes. After we did that, we also ranked each of them, because we didn't have all the time in the world, and we didn't have also all the resources to implement. And then the next step was to define action plan, assign responsibility, due date, and then also we started tracking status of completion. So this is a sample of a checklist of a change impact checklist I designed for one of my SaaS projects. So when we were preparing for go live, as part of my operations support document, I included this checklist template. And like I said, the purpose of this document is to provide a checklist of things to be considered before an upcoming update, so that the business can properly prepare to accept the pending updates. Managing the items on this list will ensure that the business is aware of potential impact of any upcoming update, and then plan and initiate all the tasks necessary to ensure a successful change. This impact was the list came up. What we generated, I generated this list based on my understanding of all the changes that happened during the project. So this was a good starting point for them. But I also noted to them that this is just a starting point. As we evolve in the use of the tool, as the vendor continues to release more features based on their roadmap, there might be new items that will go into this list, and this guides you. I also took the time to define a process for them to manage all those changes and all of that. So they really found this very useful, and I think some people might find this useful in your team also. And this marks the end of my presentation. I would pause now to take questions.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, this was fantastic. You got lots of great comments I can see in chat, and I see you're getting a lot of love over here in the reactions
Yeah.
as well. Sounds like a lot of people are going to be taking this information back and applying it to their projects today. So this is
Yeah.
really timely.